once again. Welcome to another session of our channel, learning area. Today we'll be studying mathematical operations. Now, mathematical operations is different from mathematical science. Mathematical science, we have the positive, the negative, we have the multiplication and the division or the quotient. Those are mathematical science. Also, we have greater than, less than, or equal to, as the case may be. Now, mathematical operations are those basic operations we carry out in every calculation that most people find difficult. So, because they find it difficult in carrying out a particular calculation. For instance, cross multiplication. Not everybody can cross multiply. Or using the idea of Bodmas, or opening the bracket, taking LCM, HCF, and the rest, numerator, denominator. Those are mathematical operations that people find difficult. Now, if you are able to know these basic mathematical operations, then automatically you'll be able to carry out any calculation you want to carry out mathematically correct. Now, some people carry out multiplication, division, and the rest without knowing that what they have done is mathematically incorrect because they don't have the idea of basic mathematical operations. So, this is basic. So in this section of our class, we'll be showing you how to carry out those basic mathematical operations. We'll be teaching you how to use the idea of Bodmas or PEMDAS, as the case may be. Also, we'll be teaching you on how to collect like terms, as well as cross multiplication. When should you cross multiply? Now, while showing you all this, we'll be teaching you about numerator, denominator, collecting LCM, and the rest. So the first of all is Bodmas. Now, what does Bodmas stand for? Bodmas is the acronym that stands for brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So have it as. Now, some may call it PEMDAS, some may call it PEMDAS. It stands for virtually the same thing. Now, for PEMDAS, P is our parentheses, which are bracket also. E is our exponential, which is our of or order or exponential. Now, M is for multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. PEMDAS. Yeah. So when you are solving a question that requires division and multiplication, most times you can solve them together. Addition and subtraction, you can solve them together. That means you can solve these two together as well as solving these two together. So you can solve these two together as well as solving these two together. But these bracket and off, you have to solve them separately. And these two, you have to solve them separately. So let's dive into it. Now, when do you use Bodmas? Some people don't know when to use Bodmas. Now, you use Bodmas when you have a question that requires more than one mathematical sign. For instance, we have a question that says 2 plus 3 times 5 into 7 minus 3 over, let me say, 6. Now, we see this question, we're having positive multiplication, subtraction, division in one question. Automatically, there's no other rule to apply apart from Bodmas in solving this. Of course, you are going to add, you are going to multiply, and you're going to subtract, but which should you do first? That is what Bodmas is telling you, that do the bracket first. When you are done with it, you make use of the of or the order, then you do division, multiplication, then addition and subtraction. You'll be able to get the right answer. If you start with addition, which is this, without doing the bracket or without doing any of these ones first, you will get an answer, and your answer may be in the option if it's an exam, but your answer is mathematically wrong because you've not followed the lay-down rule of Bodmas. So you have to follow the lay-down rule of Bodmas to be able to get the correct answer, so that if everybody solves it, everybody will be able to arrive at the same answer. Now, if we are to solve this question, since we have these mathematical signs, different mathematical signs in this particular question, automatically what should come to our mind is Bodmas. Now, Bodmas says we've tried what first? The bracket first, which is this is the bracket first. So it means these other ones we don't touch it, we bring it down as they are in the question. So we bring down these two, we bring down the positive 3 times 5. Then we now consider the ones in the bracket. Now what is in the bracket? 7 minus 3. What is 7 minus 3? Have it as 4. Then over 6. Now this bracket, you just remove the bracket, change it to multiplication. Bracket is written as multiplication. So whenever you see a bracket, what it means is you multiply what is outside the bracket by what is inside the bracket. So we just change that to multiplication. We have 2 plus 3 times 5, then times 4, then over 6. Now the next is what? Of or order or exponential, as the case may be. Now we don't have any of, we don't have any order, we don't have any exponential, so we just jump to the next one, which is division. We don't have any division. This is not the division in Bodmas. Division in Bodmas is this. This is division in Bodmas. Now this is just over. This is separating the numerator from denominator. Now a numerator is the top of a fraction, while a denominator is the bottom of a fraction. A fraction can be 1 over 2, can be 3 over 2, depending on the type of fraction. There are 3 types of fraction. You have the proper fraction, which is the one in which the numerator is smaller than the denominator. Then we have the improper fraction, which is the one in which the numerator is greater than the denominator. Then we have the mixed fraction, which is the one that has something like this: 2 whole number, 3 over 2, which is having a whole number and a fraction. We call this one proper because it is very proper for 2, which is big, to carry 1, which is small. So we call it a proper one. But when 2, which is small, is carrying 3, which is big, it becomes improper. That's why it's called improper fraction. Then you have the mixed fraction that has both whole number and fraction. Now the top of the fraction is called the numerator. The numerator, while the bottom is called the denominator. That's what they are called. So anytime I mention numerator, denominator, you should be able to understand what I mean. So this over sign is just separating numerator and denominator. It is not division in Bodmas. So we just consider the next one, multiplication. We're having multiplication here. This is 3 times 5, then 5 times 4 is the multiplication. Not just 5 times 4, we have 3 times 5. So we bring down this 2 plus here. We have 3 times 5 will give us what? 15. 15 times 4 will give us what? 60. To have 2 plus 60 over 6. Now what is 2 plus 60? Have it as 62 over 6. So if we are to divide further, if 2 goes here, 2 into 6 gives us what? 3. Then 2 into 2 gives us what? 1. Then 2 into 6 gives us what? 3. We have 31 over 3. Now is this a proper fraction or an improper fraction? Automatically you should know it is not proper for 3, which is small, to be carrying 31, which is big. So automatically this is an improper fraction, which can be converted to a mixed fraction. You can try it and put it in the comment section below, so I'll be able to see if you actually follow what I do. So that is the idea of Bodmas. Now you may have a question that says 2 of 3 into 7 minus 5 plus 2 divided by 7. You have a question like this. Now you have seen where we use of. So in that case, when I consider the bracket, when I finish solving the bracket, I will now consider what? The of. Now what is all you do in this case of is just to change it to 2 times 3. Just change the of to times multiplication. That's just how you solve for the of. So if we are to solve this question now, what we have is bracket is first. So we have 2 of 3 brackets. I told you we can solve addition and subtraction together. You can solve division and multiplication together. So we're having addition and subtraction here. We can easily solve it together. So we can say 7 minus 5 plus 2. 7 minus 5 will give us what? 2. Then 2 plus 2 gives us what? 4. So we're having it as 4 over 7. So 2 of, I told you to change this bracket to multiplication. So we have 2 of 3 times 4 over 7. Now what you do to the of is just to change it to multiplication. So this of becomes times 3 times 4 over 7. So what is 2 times 3 times 4? That is going to give us 6 times 4. 6 times 4 is what? 24 over 7. Is this a proper or improper fraction? It's an improper fraction. So you see how they use the of. Just change it to multiplication. That is how you use of. That is how you treat that question, having more than one notification or more than one mathematical operation in a question. That's how you apply Bodmas. That's when you know need to apply Bodmas to solving that question. So our next one will be collecting like terms and cross multiplication. So see you in the next class.